You know, I just realized when I did my thoughts on season 9, episode 15, episode of The Walking Dead, I didn't talk about what happened when you see Siddiq on the stage and he's talking to everybody at the trade fair. At this time, you know that they all know now. They all know that their fellow, you know, just the people that they grew to love, and some of them were boyfriends, and some of them were girlfriends, some of them were husbands and the wives, some of them were their children. And they knew that they were dead. And Sadiq goes on, and he's up there talking to them and telling them how they fought. You know, they didn't know each other, didn't know who was who. You know, just some of them just acquaintances, some of them just meeting for the first time that day, and they fought for each other. Even the highwaymen came in, and they see this. We see this in a flashback as he's talking. And we see, you know, you know, Ozzy and his partner, or couple is him and some other guys. I believe there was more than Ozzy and his name DJ. I believe the guy's name, but they come rushing in, and you know Ozzy has that it's a wrench, and they're just fighting and trying to do their best. But of course, we know that what the end result was. Definitely were outnumbered. They definitely were ready for a fight. But you know, in the end, what happened to them? We even see an ending scene before it goes back to Siddiq, and we see Enid with her knife in hand. You know, like ready. You know, she's ready to fight and ready to not only save herself but to help save the others and help fight off the whisperers. You know. And then Sadiq pretty much says that, you know, paraphrase, you know, we can't dwell on this. We have to move on. We have to, you know, pretty much be stronger. We have to, you know, it's hard. You know, when you look at Sadiq, man, the guy, you know, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if he witnessed it. He probably did. He's talking about it like he saw it. So I'm thinking that I don't know when he got knocked out, because remember he talked about how, you know, he was, you know, whispered into his ear by Alpha that to tell him, and then all of a sudden, you know, he blacks out. So apparently, you know, he was knocked out. Don't know if he was waking up and he saw, you know, the highwaymen come in and try their best to help the others, and yeah, give it up to those guys. They only met them like not that long ago, not so long ago, and they're already willing to risk their lives. It goes to show that you can't judge a book by its cover when it came to Ozzy and the other guys, man, the highwaymen. You know? These guys are great, man. It's like that's one of those things where it's like I think people are going to remember these guys, you know, amongst all the other classic characters, even though these guys were only in for a few episodes. But man, these guys were great. They were really great. And I am just so thankful to these guys. And they're not real, you know, they're characters. They're in the TV show, but it's like you appreciate these type of characters. And you appreciate the fact that the writing is so good on The Walking Dead that you fall in love with some characters, you respect characters, you want a character to be your brother or you want them to be your sister, you know, because you just fall so deep into their lives and their what's going on, you know. I swear, you know, I saw the episode on it's like a few days ago. I mean, right now it's this Thursday. I posted the my thoughts episode on Wednesday, and I didn't see the show until like Tuesday, or because I was just busy doing things, and I forgot about the Walking Dead. That's how deep I was into what I was doing. Even into the Badlands. Like I'm all pumped and hyped to see it, and then my brother's saying, "Hey, did you see like Walking Dead?" Because apparently when my brother recorded the latest episode of Walking Dead, it cuts off, and he told me, make sure you watch the first season of, I mean the first season, but the first episode, return episode of Into the Badlands, and you'll see the remaining. And there was like 26 minutes. That was so because apparently my brother, when he recorded, usually the Talking Dead comes on after, so that's why it kind of cuts off because the way he set up the time and everything. So I did that, and it's weird because it cut off and then it showed this. I believe that's it's one of the Whisperers, face with the dead mask on, and it just sits there and it's just looking at you, like and my brother even thought that that was the end of that episode, and then it got spoiled for him because he watched Talking Dead, and then Brett Butler was on there, and of course she played Tammy. And so he goes, "Oh, so at least I know now one of them that died." Like Sheila. But yeah, and it's I wonder what the next episode is going to be. How it's going to be like. We're going to hear from how Alden and Tammy's husband, and the king, and Ezekiel and Carol, and their thoughts and how they're going to cope with this. I mean, this is a second loss for Carol. Like, she lost her biological daughter, and then this, in past the season, maybe it was season 2 or season 3, and then now she loses someone who she adopted and considered a son, and had him since he was a young boy. And yeah, I just went straight to my ending in my last video, and I didn't talk about the scene where Siddiq's telling everybody about what he saw. And like I said, he witness it? Because apparently he did. He was able to tell what happened, and the way it looked kind of fuzzy, but you could see it. Of course, you could see it, but it was almost like it was from his point of view. The way they did it, his POV from his point of view, so he was able to see everything that was happening. And either that, or he probably was beaten, because he was beaten. He was pretty battered, tied to the tree. So he probably was, down, on the ground, and he was, in a lot of pain, a lot of hurt, and he was just looking around and seeing all this stuff happen. And apparently, I'm pretty sure he got to see. Unfortunately, he got to see them be killed, and I'm still just thinking that hopefully they don't show it. They didn't show it on this episode. Hopefully, they don't show it on the finale. They did show that one girl getting garroted and her head's, get severed. Hope they don't show none of the, the characters that died. Hopefully they don't show it. But if there's anything that I want to see, I want to see if Henry was, beaten before he had his head, not saying that I'm looking forward to seeing it, but it's just because it would kind of let me know why his face looks so unrecognizable. I'm not going to say like, oh, maybe it is because the makeup just wasn't the prop head was not made the right way, or it wasn't to his likeness. Maybe when they did it didn't. But I'm just thinking that can't be, because they had such great, with everybody else. And I'm thinking that Henry took a beating. I think his face was beaten to a pulp, and he was probably the last one killed. They made him look at everybody else, and because I'm pretty sure that she wanted probably him to suffer first, because this is the guy that her daughter ended up liking and ended up siding with. And so I don't know, it's that's something that I'd like to, maybe they'll talk about it. Maybe Siddiq will talk about it more and say that, yeah, maybe he's going to talk to Carol and Ezekiel. I mean, there's that scene in the when it comes to the preview of the final season finale, you see Lydia and you see Carol in front of her, and Lydia is like holding a knife like to her side here. She's like, I was just trying to keep it from hitting her, or is and Carol's in tears and she's in tears too, Lydia, and it's probably a confrontation. Maybe Carol blames Lydia for what happened. It wasn't her fault, it wasn't like that, but you can kind of have it's probably definitely an argument about whether or not she's responsible. Inadvertently, yeah, because it's like her mom wants to punish. It's like kind of a way for her to punish her daughter because she's weak in her eyes, and her daughter sided with the enemy. Of course, that's her perceived enemy of Alpha, and but The Walking Dead. I mean, even days later, I'm still affected. I'm at work and just thinking about it. Every time I think about it, it still hits me more than it did with Governor and the deaths that he caused, and with Negan and all that stuff. It affects you, and then you're just like, But I'm still thinking about what we saw and what transpired at the end of that episode. But this is something just like like a capper, kind of like just to kind of a bookend to the last episode the last video that I did. The Walking Dead really, really, it brought me back in. The season started off pretty rough, like I said in my previous video, and I look at it now and it's just like it was just a build-up. And myself personally, it's like I know this is how shows are. They start off slow and they build up. But the way it was starting, it looked like it's like this. I have like people that I know that stopped watching because it was just like this again. Like I don't like the Whisperers. I think they're like this and that, and they just don't do it for me and stuff. And there's even what's his name? I believe it was Scott Gimple, who I read something where he said a lot of people he knows are quitting the season, especially because of what happened with Rick. And he's like the backbone to Walking Dead. He's the guy that everybody wants to see, and then he's gone, and people were leaving and not watching the show, and he feels kind of sad about that. And he wanted people to be like, hang in there and watch this, season, because you're going to be missing out on probably one of the greatest villains that the Walking Dead has ever come up with. His words. And I kind of agree. I definitely agree. I think Alpha is a definite game changer when it came to, especially now that it's in the later seasons now, and sometimes, especially going on 9 seasons, a show will definitely lose its steam. But I think that she kind of definitely brought it back. And there's even some people that I see that they say that, oh, The Walking Dead is back, and it's true. It's true, they tried it, after, of course, with Negan and then the Saviors, and then they had that offshoot group of Saviors, and they had that one guy who was amongst the guys that were kind of taken prisoner by Jesus and the other guys in the group. And he was trying to like get those guys to, even that one guy, what was that one guy's name? The one that was the right-hand man of Negan, and then he tried to kind of lead I guess you can say a mutiny. And he was the one that they stabbed, and then they let him just turn into a zombie. And I thought that was a cruel ass scene, but it was effective. But speaking of Negan, before I forget, because if I forget this time, I'm gonna have to do another another video. But a lot of people are saying unleash Negan, like unleash the Kraken, release the Kraken, like from Clash of the Titans, like they're saying like let him go. Move, let him out of the prison. Let him have Lucille, let him go to town on Alpha. You imagine, Negan versus Beta? Holy that'll be fucking something right there, man. But I think they're gonna leave. I think they're gonna leave Beta to Daryl. I think Daryl's gonna either finish the job or we may see another death with I don't know. That's the death that a lot of people are like not wanting to see. I don't know if it's gonna ever happen. You know, eventually maybe, but not probably right now. Not in the next season. You never know. You know, they took Enid of all people. So you know, what are you going to? What do you expect? You know, with The Walking Dead and how they take characters that we love and we don't want them to die. You know, but. But I like to, I pay ringside seats for that. You know, Negan versus Alpha. Alpha's a bad bitch, and she's like someone who's, you know, she sits down and dirty. You know what I mean? One thing you do is when you're fighting, man, don't let her get behind you because she's got that Garrett. You know, she's gonna fucking sever your damn head, and you know, it's a battle between the head severer and the fucking head basher with Alpha and Negan. I think I'll see. I think I'll pay that, but then again, I'm sure there's people are gonna go, no, leave Alpha to Carol, because we know Carol. She went from that demure housewife who was being abused by her husband, and then she turned into a badass, and then someone whose character got killed off early was going to be killed off early, actually, and then I guess, because the fans love her, they let her continue. You know, it's weird because I saw in the comic book, I saw like a strip, and it showed the heads, you know, on the pike, you know, the original, I guess, the visual from the comic book, and you see someone in dreads. I don't know if that's the king or if that's Michonne, and you see some that definitely look different from the ones that were actually killed in this episode. Maybe, but again, I guess you're gonna have to switch it up a little bit because people are gonna predict, oh, you know, we know that so and so's gonna die, you know, so and so's gonna die, you know, but. Yeah, this was like I said, a great episode. You know, there are times where I'm tired of Walking Dead. It's not going in the same direction. It's about, you know, it used to be about inner turmoil between one group and them surviving with, you know, the walkers outside. And that was the only villain that they had to deal with was the walkers. And then you get these other offshoot groups like the governor and, you know, Negan, and then now Alpha, and sometimes it's like it gets too, you know, it's kind of like this too much when it comes to like how they have to always bring these guys in and they got to be over the top villains and evil and all that shit. Instead of working together, they're trying to kill these people off because they want everything. But Alpha brought it back, and definitely I'm glad that you have a character like her, because you know, I don't know. The winter is here, and definitely, like she said to Ezekiel, that the winter is going to be a hard one. She already started that off with the end result of heads on a pike, and don't know if it's still affecting you guys. It still affects me, man. It's something that you don't expect. I mean, if you're a comic book reader of the Walking Dead comics, you expected it. It's just a matter of time of when they're going to present it. But that's my video for like just the latter part of The Walking Dead. I didn't really get into it. You know, the scene where Lydia puts a necklace with the H on it for Henry. That was touching, and then we see the H on the ground, and then we see a little flake of snow fall on it, which is a great shot. I love that because it's like signaling the time that this is it, winter's here, and we see those guys all bundled up together, walking in a real deep snow. And what's going to happen in the season finale? You know, I want to see. If not, it's probably going to be in the beginning of the season 10 where we're going to see Negan's reaction. You know, Negan's going to be pissed. Negan's a motherfucker, you know. What he did to Glenn, Abraham, and everybody pretty much. I mean, he almost killed Rick. Rick could have killed his ass. He actually slit his throat, but then he had to Siddiq, you know, stitch him up. This is his time. He wants to talk about being redeemed, and he wants to redeem himself. He wants to prove himself to these guys. This is the time. Some of you guys out there who have seen the, you know the comics, maybe his reaction is known in the comics of what he does. But I think that it's going to be a game changer. I mean, Alpha was a game changer, for the season. I mean, for the Walking Dead to keep it going because she's a very, very impactful villain that's really doesn't give a fuck about anybody. She's like even kids, not only adults but kids. She's going to kill just to prove her point. And I think we're going to see. My prediction is that it's going to be Negan and Alpha, and then I think Daryl is going to finish business with Beta, and we're going to see. We're going to see how these guys react. I think it's time for Savage mode. I think Michonne needs to go back to how she was when she first came to, to the Rick and this group. I think when she ended up with Rick and started getting close to Judith and Carl, she got kind of humanized, and we saw that even though she had a killer instinct still, but she was kind of more mellowed out. But we need to see that back. That I don't give a fuck attitude, and she's gonna, you know what I mean? Don't hesitate. But for those of you who stopped by my channel and checked this video out, thank you. We're gonna do more of these videos now. And I'm going to just post my videos and what I like to do and what I want to review, what I want to react to, and I'm going to do some unboxings. I'm going to do all kinds of stuff. This is a vlog channel, and when I have the opportunity to get out again, and I'm going to do some vlogging. But I want to do some all kinds of things here, and I'm just going to just wing it and just do what I do. And thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Please also thumbs up the video, click like, and share it, and also subscribe. Well, again, thank you, and take care.